My name is Sebastian Urrutia Lutz. I'm here in Australia, but I'm Chilean of origin. I am a biochemist. I studied biochemistry first. I didn't get to finish because there was an issue, me wanting to go into the food technology area, and the university didn't quite get there. But so then I changed into becoming a dietitian so that I could be a food technologist with the dietitian focus. So my passions were always related to food. I was always the fatty kid that wanted to eat everything. I decided to come here to Australia because a lot of things happened in my home country. I was bashed. I have metal plates in my skull here. I was raped on 3 occasions. I just wanted to get out of that and come to a place where I could, develop my life further. I arrived in 2018 and it was lovely. I started working first as a bartender, came on a working holiday visa, so that allows you to work in certain fields. I suddenly made friends with another Chilean person that was here that hadn't been here for a while, and he mentioned having some STI symptoms, so he asked me to go as a support for him to the clinic and do the testing, and I was like, oh, I'll do the test myself as well, just to have my sanity check card ready. And after that I was called and I was told that I had HIV. I didn't expect that because I had used the post-exposure prophylaxis pill after I was raped, so I didn't expect that to happen. I had taken care, so I was like, okay, well, I have other friends that have it, and you just take a pill and that's it. So I was like pretty chill about it. But after I started the medication, the first day after waking up, I just started feeling that I could not move, that I was very nauseous, and I started vomiting a lot. Then no energy, confusion, and I felt like my organs were not set in place. It was such a weird feeling that I went to the doctors and explained the situation. They said, it's completely normal for the first 2 weeks. You just follow through and it'll stop. But it never stopped. I was vomiting blood. I was having bloody diarrhea. It was horrible situation, and doctors were just telling me to wait it out until I told them that I just couldn't take that medication anymore, that they needed to find an alternative because I was not living. I had stopped working, but I was flat on bed, intermittently bedridden, and stopped the medication. And the first day I started feeling a little bit better. Then the second day I was able to eat more, because when I started the medication, actually I lost 37 kilograms in less than 3 weeks. It was insane. I just couldn't bring up myself out of bed. Sometimes I was waking up very confused. Time was flowing at a weird pace. I couldn't make sense of anything. I was so hungry and nauseous, and I was like, oh no, I can't. So I was just going to the doctors, speaking with doctors, asking for a second opinion, putting pressure on doctors and saying, I cannot live like this. This is not a life. We need to change this. So that's where I just stopped seeking for jobs and started focusing on pressuring my doctors and finding ways to cope, because I couldn't feel that I could ever be a worker like that. I cannot keep a 9-to-5 or any sort of schedule if I cannot eat. I was sent to this emergency housing situations because I was still bad. I was at my worst at that time. Even my testosterone levels were so down that were very bad, and I was crawling down the apartment to get to the refrigerator, could barely pick up myself from bed to go to the bathroom, and I was feeling so weak that I needed the help. So I ended up being put into Flagstaff Crisis Accommodation Center in West Melbourne, where it's actually horrible. I felt like I was a prisoner. I shared with people that came from prison, addicts, junkies, drunks, and people that were very extremely aggressive and weird, and the doors were metallic. Everything had a felt of a prison-like sort of situation. I came with a working holiday visa, and I was planning to migrate with a skilled migration pathway due to my degrees and my experience. I came with that idea, but my lawyers told me, oh no, you're HIV positive now, so you will be discriminated from the visas. And I was like, how can you cannot discriminate people for being HIV positive. It shouldn't be legal. No, they do it through a means that if you cost more than $60,000 to the Medicare a year, according to their costs, you cannot be eligible for those sort of visas. So I had to change my whole plan, and my lawyer said, well, you will have to go into a student's visa and go like the rest of people. And I was like, but I need the Medicare. My doctors are telling me I need to, if not, how do I receive the health? My insurance is for the year. How do I do this? Well, unless you have a story that will suffice for a refugee status, but I don't think that from your country you can. And I was like, yeah, no, but I don't know. I know I don't come from, wow, what could I do? But why did you come here? And explain to them, I was bashed, I was raped, this happened to me, so I just wanted to move out from the country. Well, that's the case for refugee status. That's the case for a protection visa. I was like, really? Isn't that for like people that come from a war country or something like that? They mentioned, no. They've all sorts of refugee status sort of visas that are different. And the only problem is that you would never be able to go back to your home country if you go to this visa. And I was like, I wasn't planning on going back either, maybe for a visit, but well, you will not be able to go for a visit. That would be the sacrifice. And I just talked to my parents about it and said, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to go, and I have to do this because I need the medical care that they have here. The medications that are back in my home country weren't the new ones, and I was having trouble with the new ones, and the older ones were worse. So it was just a matter of making the decision and be like, I need this for my health, and the cure will come here first if it ever does. So I now need to stay here. Okay. So I just went with it, and we applied for it, and my parents weren't so happy about it, of course. But it has been very hard because, for example, my grandma passed away recently last year, and I couldn't be there. And she became sick when I was here, and I already applied for the visa. So it was very tough. And my mom was there in her deathbed with her. So not being able to be there for my mom, it's very, very hard. And not seeing your family, it causes tremendous distress, but it was just a thing that had to be done. And sorry about that. My goals have been changing and adapting as I go, trying to be more realistic about my situation in the future. I always wanted to work in my field, but I worked in food development. So trialing food and making food, and now I cannot eat most foods, and I get nauseous, so I don't have the ability to work in my field anymore. I was so passionate for it, but now it's just the place of hurt. Medications and pharmaceuticals have always been mimicking things that come from nature on many occasions. So why don't we just get those things from nature and we use those instead of petrochemical derivatives? Like, I think that there's a market there. Should I just try to get a shorter degree, like for example a finance degree, and that could allow me to transcend in my own field from a technical skill and working to assess people that do investments just because they will have more knowledge about the business per se, instead of having someone that comes from the finance and business area and having them learn science, which is much harder. Even though, for example, I cannot or shouldn't even work in my field, that would be a stepping, working in the same field but differently. I would not be the one trialing and error and doing the food, but I would still be related to it. So